Hey student, in this video I'm going to show you why your English speaking is not clear and how you can fix that. What kind of activities you should be doing in your study routine if you want to be able to speak more clearly anywhere, anytime. If you don't know me very well, I'm Teacher Prix and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Make sure to subscribe to my channel because every week I'm really active here. I'm creating different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. And if you have already subscribed, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Enjoy the journey. Now, guys, how to speak more clearly. If your English is not clear, what is happening and what do you need to do to change this situation? Because it's important to know what you need to do. So let's understand a few things, shall we? Now, guys, here on my channel, I help specific students who are not beginners anymore. You can understand this video. Maybe not 100%, but you can. So what I focus on here on my channel is to help pre-intermediate and intermediate students. Because as I always like to say, this is a transition level. And at this level, it is natural, completely natural to make mistakes. And why? Well, your brain is trying to bring together, connect the lessons with English speaking. So it's a challenge for the brain to put the words together, organize the phrases, and very quickly so that you can have a conversation. So this is a tough level for you to be at. However, here is the challenge. It is important to understand the reasons that could impact the rest of your journey and make your English speaking not clear. If you don't take any action, if you don't make any change, you're going to be stuck for the rest of your journey. That's why this video is so useful to you and so important. And I invite you to share this lesson with other people because there are many students who are stuck at pre-intermediate and intermediate level. Now, this is something that I always focus on with my BSA. BSA are students in my academy, and my mission is to help my students to go from stuck to speaking in 6 months. And inside my academy, I'm always making sure that my babies work on English speaking. They have to do this by themselves. They need to practice English speaking because English speaking is a skill that you need to practice. Just as you practice vocabulary, just as you practice listening, reading, writing. Well, you got to practice English speaking. My students have speaking checkpoints, speaking activities they have to do. They have extra challenges inside our group on Facebook. In every module, I give them suggestions of things they can do to include speaking in their lives. And they are always sharing feedback to me. These screenshots you can see are from students posting their speaking challenges, their checkpoints. Because it's important that they use what they study inside my program. And I invite you to do that, to use what you study and put into practice the ideas that I'm going to give you, the recommendations I'm going to give you, the websites that I'm going to suggest. Use them in your favor. Now, the first thing that could be impacting your English and making you speak in a confusing way is your structure. Your structure is not clear. Here, guys, I'm talking about grammar. Your grammar is confusing. Therefore, when you try to express yourself, people have trouble understanding your ideas. Just as this little image you see of the confusing thoughts, that's what people feel when you speak English, because your grammar is not accurate. Connecting ideas. So here we have a few things. Connecting ideas. You don't know how to connect one idea with another. You didn't practice that, so you don't know how to do it. Expressing opinion. You are stuck with, in my opinion, it's okay, it's good, I think it's okay. I think it's nice. Yes. I think it's important. Yeah. No, that's not expressing opinion at all. If you want to be a fluent English speaker who can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, You have to go beyond the, yeah, I think it's good. I think so. No, I don't like it. You have to practice doing more than that. And that will involve a lot of critical thinking. You need to exercise that in English. Telling stories. I'm always making my babies in the academy, in my program, tell stories about themselves, things that happen to them that they think is not important, but to me is super important. You need to practice telling stories. So you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to use the grammar you study to make that happen, especially when it's time to speak. These are things you're not practicing. And finally, it's also grammar. This is all in the grammar department. Your sentence order is confusing. So the way you organize your phrases, when the babies join the academy, the first lesson I give them in grammar is to help them understand the types of words. Nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and this may seem very simple, and it is. But as soon as they start giving me the examples, I show them, see? Now you understand what I'm trying to teach. It may be something really simple, really basic. But if you don't use, if you don't practice, you don't master. And that's the first thing I show my babies. As they are posting examples with nouns, with verbs, with adjectives, with adverbs, I start to show them, see, you're confusing nouns and adjectives. You're confusing adverbs. Your phrase is disorganized. The time, the place, the person. Let me fix my camera here. The object. So these are basic things that you learned, but you didn't learn how to use it to talk about your feelings, to talk about your opinions, to tell your stories. And as a result, your English speaking is not clear. So this is the first one. The second one, pronunciation and intonation. Guys, at this level, at a pre-intermediate or intermediate level, you should know the kinds of sounds that are difficult for you. I know the ones that are difficult for me. So I practice. I'm always practicing the ones that are challenging for me. If you don't pronounce words properly, even a simple word will not be easy for people to understand, whether you are using English to communicate with native or non-native speakers. So this is something that you need to be practicing around the clock. Every week, you need to be practicing reading, shadowing, reading aloud with the transcript available and the audio file available, connecting both, learning specific sounds, learning how to connect the words. At the end of last month, at the end of January, every month my babies have workshops. I gave them a present perfect grammar, present perfect, listening because we had music, and pronunciation. We practiced the contraction of present perfect in spoken language. So I'm always including pronunciation and intonation to my babies. Why? Because it is important. If you want to be clear, you need to practice speaking words clearly, not perfectly. I am not talking about perfection. I'm talking about the ability of communicating well. And that has nothing to do with speaking perfectly. I don't. I still make pronunciation mistakes. I still make intonation mistakes. That's why I'm consistently practicing these points, because I know I need work. And I always show my BSA, my students in my academy, the importance of establishing this practice. And I recommend you do the same. And stay with me until the end, because I'll show you 4 ideas to help you work on these guys, okay? And hey, if you're enjoying this video, I ask you to support my channel by subscribing, by sharing this lesson. There's so much free information in this video. So I invite you to share this video with someone. You really help me continue coming back here and do my work. Because that way YouTube understands that this is an important lesson, and it'll help bring more people more people like you who are on the journey to English fluency. And in case you're interested, I have an amazing study plan cycle that will help you organize your study routine. If you're feeling lost and you don't know how to organize your study practice, how to include grammar, reading, listening, how to organize your speaking skills, how to plan your study routine. This is not my academy, but it's the second thing I recommend people to follow. It's my study plan cycle. And if you need to improve your listening, I have a listening mastery workshop that will definitely show you what you need to do so that you can improve your listening comprehension. Now, guys, number 3, wrong use of words. Oh my gosh, this one is a killer in a bad way. Using false friends. At the beginning of your journey, you probably used a lot of translation. Many students use a lot of translation. And as I always like to say, translation is only bad if you use it as a method to learn. The entire foundation of your practice is based on translation. Then it's bad. At the beginning, as a beginner, we have to be very careful about how much translation we use. But unfortunately, most students don't have this awareness of how to use grammar, how to use translation, how to connect ideas in English. So when you get to a pre-intermediate level and intermediate level, you already built the habit of translating. You already built habits that will not make you a better speaker, that will confuse people around you, that will make your English speaking unclear. So using using wrong words or confusing words or false friends. So many times I catch people telling me, I pretend to go to law school one day. You don't pretend, you intend. This happens a lot to Brazilian people. Latin people, you don't pretend anything, you intend. So these are mistakes that happen. There are more mistakes like this. It's a word that is similar to our word in our language, in our native language, and we create and we use it. Another common mistake, we create some phrases, we create some words that don't exist. We don't take the time to learn the word, to learn how to say the word. That's when translation can help. Don't translate complete phrases. That is not helpful. That will only slow you down. And I talked about this week. But getting a word you don't know is fine. It's okay. I understand. It's important. So using confusing types of words, as I said before when I was talking about grammar, this is also connected with vocabulary. When you're studying vocabulary, you probably didn't know how to use that type of word correctly. That's why you need to study words in context. Every new word my students learn in my academy when they're studying the modules or participating in extra activities, they always have context to help them understand the words they're studying. And if you don't do this, you may learn words in a wrong way. Another thing, old-fashioned words. Very careful. Sometimes a word exists, but people don't use it anymore. So that's context. You need to find that too. Not just because it's in the dictionary, it means you can use it. So watch out for that. Watch out for old-fashioned words or extremely, you make those phrases that are extremely formal, but they are not appropriate for the environment. The way you use can, the way you use may, the way you use should, would, certain verbs. Watch out for levels of formality. I am in favor of formality at the right place with the right people. Watch out for that because you will not sound clear if you go to a certain environment and you use words that are not appropriate for that environment. It's like I go in front of a king and I talk, yo, what's up? That's not okay. So I need to watch out for that because you go with the intention of sounding appropriate and interesting and amazing, but you are sounding the complete opposite. You are showing a tremendous lack of experience and knowledge in the language, especially when you use words that are incorrect for the phrase, that are old-fashioned, or that are not simply not common. It may exist, but they're just not common. So observe that, okay? Now, based on that, what should you be doing? First thing, well, let's focusing on the number one reason, the structure problem. You need to include more writing. Okay, include more writing in your practice. And when I say writing, I mean you're gonna grab a pen or a pencil and you will write by hand. Okay, write. Writing is power. Writing is power. Okay, you're going to include more of that, especially when you're studying grammar. And the second thing you're going to do, I want you to install, if you're using Google, you will install the Google Chrome, you will install the extension Grammarly. If you are on the Apple iOS computer, you know, the MacBook, they also have Grammarly. You just need to install. You can also install in your computer the application, the app Grammarly. You can download Grammarly. It's not completely free, but the free version is already very helpful. And what are you going to do? Basically, Grammarly corrects your grammar. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But for students, it can be very efficient because it'll show you if you're using a word incorrectly, a preposition, the order of some phrases. So it helps. So first you write. Then you open your computer and you will type the phrase, the examples you created on Grammarly. You will get some feedback because it's not completely free. It'll help you identify a few things you couldn't because you don't have anyone to correct your examples. Not like my students from my academy. When they post examples on the platform, I'm the one who corrects. I give them feedback. But you don't have access to that. You're not my baby. You're not my BSA. So you can use Grammarly. It's not completely free. It's not 100% accurate. But it gives you some ideas. Okay, so Google this Grammarly. Use the free version. I use it. Priscilla, use it. The free version. I never bought it. I only use the free version. When I'm writing something, especially when I am studying vocabulary, learning new words. I post some examples, I create my examples and I write there and then I see, oh, okay, the organization here is a little confusing. I get some ideas. So I do it. You should be doing this too. Another thing, every time you learn a new word, another website suggestion, every time you learn a new word, look up examples. And you can use the dictionary sentence.yourdictionary.com. This dictionary is very specific. It's not going to give you the explanation of a word. No, it's going to give you a list of phrases from the internet using this word you typed. It doesn't work if you type a phrase. You have to type a word or maybe a phrasal verb or maybe an idiom. And then this dictionary will search the internet and bring you the results of phrases using this word that you typed. I do this all the time. Guys, I'm teaching you what I teach my students, what I do in my practice. So when I learn a new word, I create my examples and then I post this word on this dictionary. I go to sentence.yourdictionary.com and then I type the word and then I see the results. And then I see options. I help my brain better understand the words I'm learning by checking other examples and not only the dictionaries, Oxford, Collins, not only those examples, but other ones. And finally, guys, study grammar actively by writing and speaking. You need to include writing and speaking when studying grammar. And I'm not simply talking about doing grammar drills. I don't do a lot of grammar drills. I do some. But when I say writing, I mean, okay, I was studying modal verbs this week. That's the focus this week and probably the next 2 weeks, because there are many things to review for me in modal verbs. And as I was studying, I was creating my examples. So I created, I think, 2 to 3 examples with each modal verb I was studying. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, no more. 2 to 3 examples. Why? And I revealed can, could, may, could, might, will, would, must, and other ones that I'm not going to talk about. Why, guys? Because active, and I practice my speaking too. I recorded myself creating examples, and I wrote examples different. This is active practice. This is what I always insist with my babies, and I am insisting with you. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, check out my study plan cycle. It'll help you organize your plan, or my listening mastery workshop. I'm sure they will help you on your journey to fluency. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.